How useful would it be if you could make an accurate and quick judgment when meeting someone? Determining how friendly they are to you and whether they are attempting to dominate or deceive you? You don't have to start talking when you meet someone for the first time. You can see through the person's inner feelings to some extent just by looking at the person's expression or hand gestures. As a result, understanding the meaning of the other person's gestures and reading the person's inner mind, which differs from what they say on the outside, is critical. In this video, we'll look at 7 signs that your partner is lying. If the opponent is unaware of this, but we can gain an advantage in negotiations or any other situation, so if you are interested, please watch this video. 1. Put one's hand over one's mouth. Covering your mouth with your hand can be interpreted as telling your brain to stop telling lies subconsciously. If the other person makes these gestures frequently during a conversation, he is most likely lying. Be cautious because it may appear as a gesture of raising a finger or fist around the mouth in some cases. If you're giving a presentation and many people in the audience are covering their mouths, you should be aware that something is wrong. They are suspicious and dislike it in their hearts, but they keep it hidden for fear of expressing their displeasure. In this case, you should pause your presentation to ask questions or invite participation in some way so that you can rethink what you're saying. It can also take the form of an innocuous gesture, such as placing your finger vertically on your lips and doing a hush. However, it is also true that there is something hidden in this case, in the sense that you do not want to be honest, so you must be aware of it. 2. Scratch nose quickly. Nose touching can appear as a series of quick rubs or as a single, almost imperceptible, light touch. When people lie, chemicals known as catecholamines are released, causing the tissue inside the nose to swell, according to a Chicago lab. It demonstrates that the Pinocchio effect, in which the nose grows when you lie, is true, albeit not to the extent that you can see it with your eyes. Furthermore, when a person lies, blood pressure rises, and the nerve tissue at the tip of the nose is stimulated, causing the nose to feel itchy. So, when you lie, rubbing or scratching your nose has a scientific basis. As with covering one's mouth, nose touching can occur when the liar wishes to conceal his feelings as well as when the listener is suspicious of the other person. 3. While speaking, rub eyes. When there is something they do not want to see, young children have a habit of covering their eyes with one or both hands. It's a sweet and innocent gesture, but as you grow older, it evolves and takes the place of rubbing your eyes. However, few people realize that rubbing one's eyes goes beyond the psychology of not wanting to see a deception, suspicious object, or unpleasant scene and is an attempt to avoid looking at the person who is listening to one's lies. In the case of a large lie, you will easily detect it because you will avert your gaze. Furthermore, actions such as lightly touching the area under the eyes or vigorously rubbing the eyes as if tired may be associated with lying. 4. Talking while touching ears. Ear rubbing is similar to eye rubbing. This is also linked to lying, insecurity, and doubt. The gesture of a scolded child covering his ears with his hands has evolved into the adult version of ear touching, just as blindfolding because you don't want to see has evolved into eye rubbing. If the other person touches his ear every time you speak to him during negotiations, it indicates that he does not like your proposal and does not want to hear it because he is suspicious. In contrast, if the other person frequently touches their ear while speaking, it indicates that they do not want to hear any criticism from the person who doubts their lies. Rubbing behind the ear, digging the ear with twisting fingers, pulling the earlobe, and folding the entire ear forward to close the canal are all variations on this motion. 5. Scratching of the neck. People are occasionally seen scratching the sides of their necks under their earlobes with their fingers. The average person is said to scratch 5 times per minute. This gesture expresses doubt or uncertainty and is said to mean I'm still not sure whether to agree or not. When this is done alongside contradictory statements, they become more visible. For example, if you say, "I know how you feel," and scratch your neck under your earlobe, you actually mean the opposite. You have no idea how the other person feels. 6. The action of yanking on the collar. When some people lie, the skin on their neck becomes irritated, resulting in a neck scratching and collar pulling action. This is meant to relieve body heat. According to British ethologist Desmond Morris, when humans lie, the sensitive tissues in the neck tingle and rub or scratch. Furthermore, they discovered that when they suspect their partner is doubting them, their blood pressure rises, their neck sweats, and they pull their collars up out of anxiety. If the other person makes these gestures while speaking, it is a good idea to ask, "Could you say it again? Or could you please explain further?" Then, even if the other person tries to cheat, he will immediately stop. One thing to keep in mind is that even when angry or disappointed, some people pull on their collars to calm down their excitement, which must be understood in the context of the overall gesture combination. 7. Biting one's nails. Finger biting is an unconscious gesture performed by a person attempting to recreate the relief he felt as a child while suckling his mother's breast. It usually manifests itself in stressful situations. It's like putting a cigarette, pipe, or ballpoint pen in your mouth rather than your fingers. Because lying causes anxiety and stress, you make those movements without even realizing it. The gesture of putting your hand around your mouth is associated with deception and lies, but biting your fingers can be an expression of an inner desire for comfort, so it should be understood in the context of the overall gesture. It's natural to believe that when people lie, they smile a little more than usual. As the saying goes, be wary of people who approach you with a smile. Various studies, however, suggest the exact opposite. When liars lie, they are said to smile less than usual. This means that most people are just as nervous when they lie, and they try to appear relaxed while pretending to be confident because they are afraid of being caught, but they are never truly that way. Telling a lie in one word is difficult. Sometimes we are surrounded by people who have been professionally trained to lie more skillfully and perfectly. Even while lying, by studying gestures that appear to tell the truth or by employing techniques that minimize gestures. Incongruent gestures, on the other hand, are difficult to conceal completely. In addition to the 7 signs of lying discussed today, you can develop the habit of lying through a variety of gestures such as facial muscle movements, pupil dilation or constriction, sweating or flushing, and eye blinking. However, because some gestures can be simple habits, it is best to understand them in the context and situation of the conversation. I hope you remember what I told you today, and that when you meet people in different places, you will be a wise person who understands the other person's intention and prepares for it through the signals of their unconscious gestures, rather than their clever words. Thank you very much.